Здравствуйте, товарищи, and welcome back to our humble Soviet Republic. We're off at distant, quaint Ashkakal. Our base of operations continues to grow. Folks, we're going to be accelerating things a bit further this session onwards, as I've realized I'm being a bit too stingy. I keep saying you gotta spend money to make money, but I keep hesitating when the time comes to actually spend that money despite saying that. I've got all these construction projects just waiting to go, and why am I waiting? I'm going to need these buildings inevitably. This is our first industry I'm trying to set up. We've got sewage that we absolutely must have. And what's the difference if I pay for it now versus 6 months from now? These are essentials that have to be in place before things start rolling. So, in the interest of getting things rolling, let's get this party started by initializing the construction of the Ashkakal brick factory, the associated small aggregate storage, the conveyor belt that connects them, and beyond that as well, of course, the sewage loading and unloading plant, and the pipes underneath as well. I do believe we need to build our sewage tank up over here, as well as the sewage switch that is currently ongoing. Yeah, let's get you going as well, and let's make sure we have a pedestrian connection so this can in fact be built. Just loop you back like so, and then hook you up like so. Wonderful. Now, let's get time moving so that all this construction can start right away. Because otherwise, see, as I was suspending all this construction and planning away, I was going to lead to an inevitable backlog where I hit go on everything at the same time, and then all the vehicles are like, cool, I have 1,000 jobs to do. How do you expect me to do them all in quick time? And we'd fall behind. So at least this way, we're going to see constant and consistent progress. But we also have to see some deprogress. I can't think of a good way of phrasing it, so work with me here as I talk about the demolitions office. Fact of the matter is that I should have built a switch into our line here, and I didn't, and I'm going to pay the price for it. We're going to have to demolish at least a part of this line, build a switch into it, make sure that we're actually able to have a proper power infrastructure established at Ashkakal, and in order to do all that, we're actually going to need a demolition office. Now, we should be able to get a free demolition office. It'll need a couple of vehicles to get the job done, and I'm not entirely sure how chaotic this is going to be. I'm going to go ahead and pop this down up over here, flatten the train a bit. No one's going to be free and available right now. So I guess I'm restricted to sweet spot over here. Again, I was saving this for a construction office, but beggars can't be choosers. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and pop you down over here. And let's go ahead and see what it would take to actually demolish some of this, some of these posts over here. Over to our power section, over to cancel wires. And the other question, I guess, is where I want this switch to live. I mean, I guess this is a sweet spot right next to the intersection, or perhaps this over here. Yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of you. I guess in order to get rid of you, I have to get rid of you and you as well, because of the adjacency. And this project requires just a couple of work days. I don't need notification when finished. We will not be using explosives. This does not need to be accelerated. So we just need to get some workers over, and the task will be done quickly enough. Let's go ahead and make sure that we actually have access to workers. I don't think I need the biggest bus at the demolition office, do I? Well, for larger demolition, yeah, absolutely. So sure, let's go ahead and build capacity, get our classic, and make sure we're actually doing this demolition. We don't need any other resources. We will need to move some of the waste around though, right? There's going to be metal scrap and mixed waste coming from this. So let's go ahead and make sure that we have what we need on that front. Will the big garbage container move both mixed waste and metal scrap? Let's go by capacity over here. I believe that is the biggest. Yes, it is. Sure, let's grab one of those. And I will also need space for all this waste. Where is waste? There you are, buddy. Nice big dump, or a small dump, or a free dump. That just gives us mixed waste. It's all for mixed waste. Scrapyard is probably where can I stockpile? Oh yeah, metal scrap. There we go. I was just not seeing it. Surely we have somewhere smaller as well. Oh no. It's all mixed waste. Oh yeah. Small garbage containers, large. This can supposedly hold some metal scrap. That's tiny, though. We need to have some proper dumps and stuff set up. A smaller scrapping facility is absolutely massive. What? You call that small? That can't be as small as it gets. That can't be as small as it gets. Alright, first of all, let's get a small dump going, because we can get that for free. We're going to need one. We can pop it right next to where everyone else's dump goes. So, right next to the sewage plant, loading and unloading station, rather. We'll pop you down as soon as we have some free excavators. That's the problem with getting all the construction going, is the excavators go away. So, back to our construction offices. Let's establish one more over here. And this guy's not going to be assigned to any actual construction, and he's just going to hold on to some excavators and bulldozers. So, pop you down like so. Go ahead and purchase a couple of excavators. Speed level 28, 22. So, a couple of you. Cool. And all worthwhile expenses. Once they arrive, we'll go ahead and establish our dump over here. What's the situation over here? Demolition office is assigned. What are you up to, buddy? Only just arrived. Workers or mechanism. Oh, right, of course. Because I have to tell you where to get workers from. Bring them in from up over there. I gotta actually tell them where to store the scrap as well. And I guess I can just build an aggregate storage. Where are we? Aggregate. Yeah, we can get metal scrap in here. There we go. That's our free option. Cool. So we'll do that up over here next to the free dump as well. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Let's wait for our excavators and stuff to arrive first. Let's speed time up a little bit further. And we should see some good progress over here. It's nice to see all this construction happening as well. It's just, I don't know, it's just kind of cool. Like, seeing all these guys just working away and building our nation has always been an epic feeling for me when playing Workers and Resources. It's just got just this level of involvement that I don't get from any other city builder. And I find it absolutely wild. It's enthralling to me. Alright. Enough of the gushing. And I get my excavator and bulldozer down here. Slowly making their way over, I imagine. You know what? They're probably coming from... yeah, there they are. A little convoy of construction equipment. I'm glad I built this connection, actually. I mean, this must be significantly faster, especially for some of these slower vehicles. And again, I'm not too worried about the flatbeds that'll carry them to construction sites, because I don't intend to assign this construction office to any construction sites. In fact, do not auto-search. Cancel all assignments. There we go. That'll ensure that they stay put. These guys are probably going to get some gas. That's all well and good. And as soon as they're done with that, we'll start some terraforming and get the waste storage set up. I'm glad I decided to do this. I was letting this stick around, and it was going to bother me, because as we expand, we're going to need access to power further and further along. I mean, that's just how things go. Like, if I go to establish the small clinic we were talking about briefly last session, you'll see that I'm actually extremely limited as to how far I can go, and obviously that applies to any of the buildings we were talking about establishing last session. I can only go so far. And sure, I don't mind being in this general area, but I would like to... Maybe I'd like to build something up against this road, and maybe I'd like it to have power. I can't. So, yeah, definitely want to sort that out. Get another substation down over here, perhaps, I think. I should mention, by the way, on the topic of placing additional buildings down over here, well, for one... Wow, these guys are done. I was going to say I could just do this while I'm waiting for the excavators, but they're here now. But one other thing we were considering and worried about is, of course, people being able to reach on foot. Improved roads, improved walkways help people get further on foot. So that's something we'll be taking care of as well as time goes on, as we upgrade some of these dirt paths and mud roads and stuff like that. But anyway, let's go ahead and focus on our needs over here. I wanted to place a... Well, first of all, let's go ahead and get ourselves a free dump. Could establish you like this, I think. I figure out exactly what works. Like if I get a road up like so, too steep of an incline. No surprise there. I want that road to come out this way, right? So let's instead simply terraform. And now I have access to level terrain height from center as well, which can be quite convenient because I can get a reference point and just have our bulldozers come through and bulldoze away. Go ahead and flatten. Go. We have that high road right next to all these dumps and stuff. I think that's fine. I think that makes sense. Trying to remember the various ways of accelerating terraforming, because we're clearly going to need to do a lot of it. This is good. I think the lower terrain probably works a little bit faster. Hard to tell right now with all the dust that gets kicked up. Let's not forget again that I want to put a power plant in the area as well, right? So not overdo it. In fact, I could put the plan for that power plant down right now so I don't cut myself off in the future. I don't think I will, but if I wanted to, I could. But yeah, this road coming out like so. Flatten a bit more. Yeah, there we go. Something like that. Yep. All right. And then we can go ahead and establish the free dump. Bit of flattening required. That's all well and good. It'll flatten in the right direction at least. What I could do is I could establish you over here. Don't store anything just quite yet. And I could go ahead and establish another small free aggregate storage down over here as well. Again, just keeping in mind where that coal power plant is eventually going to go if all things go smoothly. Where are we? Electricity, coal power plant. Like, it's got a pretty massive footprint. I have room for it, but that's about as far up as I can go in terms of terraforming. So let's keep that in mind. Let's keep that in mind. Have I encroached? Nah, I don't think I've encroached. If I get rid of you a little bit, I think I'm fine. I think I'm fine enough with the way this layout's gonna work. Flatten that terrain a bit. Again, it's free, and it gives me a point of reference. And it lets me know how this area is actually going to look as well as far as terrain is concerned, right? And I think that's... Actually, I think that's okay. That's not bad. I was worried it was going to look kind of real jank, but this actually works nicely. So level terrain height from center, please and thank you. Go ahead and bring this down, and yeah, we'll get the aggregate storage here as well. This will be where all the waste goes. Human and otherwise. This is good. I like this. And eventually we'll hook this up to a cleaning facility in the area as well. This is going to be the smoky, dusty, gross part of town. I think it's far enough away. Oh boy, might not be. That's why we're expanding in that direction. We'll be fine. Our people will be fine. Go ahead and... that might be enough, actually. Place our free aggregate storage. Flip you around like that. Expand the road a little bit. Just to make sure I'm not like missing a trick here or something. There we go. Beauty. And... beauty. Cool. So you're going to go ahead and store metal scrap only. You're going to store mixed waste. And that should do the trick. And it looks like the dump is in fact able to store metal scrap and stuff as well, but I'm okay with doing the aggregate over here. Is it a waste of a free one? Potentially. Total capacity of 180. I think we're okay. think we're okay. Alright, this thing is done being demolished, but the goods actually need to be moved, waiting for garbage disposal. So let's go ahead and assign for metal scrap you, and for mixed waste. Cool. I just think it's kind of wild that we also have to do demolition manually like this. This was added over the course of early access waste and waste management stuff. And just like, yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. Where are you going to load up? Or are you going to go all the way to here, I guess, to imply the movement? I'm curious, actually. I want to see where this guy ends up going. It's a very slow vehicle as well. Granted, it is on the worst kind of road, so I'm going to park over here, and presumably, you're going to pick up some metal scrap. Oh, it's got a little animation and stuff as well. Great. And are we done yet? No, still 0.04 tons of mixed waste left to go. And obviously, you're not going to carry both types of garbage at the same time to then filter it between the two dumps. So that's going to take a minute, but that's all good. We have this piping almost done. Excellent. Speed time up a little bit. Do I get another? You know what? Yes, I think it makes sense to get another garbage truck in here. Because, well, we're going to need to always be moving garbage. That's how this works. This is demolition. Alright, do I want to get the construction on some of this stuff going as well? That's the other question. The warehouse, again, was supposed to facilitate the movement of goods, maybe at higher quantities, so maybe it's not that much of a rush. But yeah, while all this is going on, I suppose I could do a bit of planning over here with regards to our state infrastructure. So first of all, we've got our small clinic that I would like to, yes, set up over here. I'll be able to get power to it. That'll be fine. And I will check really quickly. Why is the footpath not connecting? Can't possibly be too steep. Let's go ahead and say our small clinic is going to go lined up. Something's not lined up. That small clinic. Get you down like so, and we're going to suspend construction, of course, because we don't want any of this stuff to build yet. But I do want to check if that is where our small clinic goes. God, are you in a straight line? I'm not going to let it bother me. I can't let it bother me. We're going to slow down so much if I do. But I want to check really quickly if the people will be able to reach. So first of all, I need to actually get a footpath up over here, like we were experimenting previously. Get you up to there. And let's just get any old small house that has a pedestrian connection. So we can't actually reach, eh? Well, if I get a footpath connection over here... If I just do this, I should be able to cut that distance down by enough. Yeah. Even if we go all the way to... Oh, man. There. We'll be able to get people to the small clinic. But that's the limit of how far they can go. If I decide to put a school down over here, that's it. They won't make it there. So let's try something here. Let's go ahead and keep these footpaths in place for the time being. Stay infrastructure. Get a kindergarten down over here. So, you know, it's a kindergarten next to the clinic. The kids can go to the school nurse over there, and then we'll get the school down as well. And again, it's the school nurse. We'll get a little complex going over here. Is that the smallest school there is? No, there might be smaller, actually. For 84 students. Oh, that is tiny. Nice, you know, village school. It doesn't even have a road connection. It's a pedestrian connection. Well, all right, I think that'll work. Global market report. The price of what iron ore has gone up. If only I was producing iron ore to export. But where were we? Right. So school. You're within walking distance, I imagine, because you're closer. That'll be okay. But again, let's go ahead and suspend construction. Now let's take a look at kindergarten. This is the smallest, 120 kids. That's okay. I really hope I'm not shooting myself in the foot by making this so small of an operation. Because eventually, as the city grows, we'll need more schools and stuff for sure anyway, right? So this is really to support this locality. And I'm trying to restrain myself from going, well, eventually I'll need a bigger school, so let's just build the biggest one we have right off the bat. Again, we're playing realistic mode, so I'm trying to be realistic. Road is bothering me. I apologize for rebuilding it so many times, but just, it's not right. No, I don't mean to actually demolish you. That was a misclick. Your construction is suspended. Yeah, excellent. This thing isn't. Sorry. Let's go ahead and get the small clinic in here now properly. Now that I can actually line it up to something that's actually properly lined up. Of course, our school is in the way. Love how I deserve this. I deserve this. Can't build it infrastructure. That's what's causing us trouble there. Alright. Like I said, I deserve that. Not going to change it again. Pop you down there. Go ahead and suspend. Chase after the school. It's the smallest one there is. Go ahead and pop you down there. Yep. And let's go ahead and put our kindergarten down over here. This will be a good test. Pop you down like so. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and suspend your construction. Make sure you're suspended as well. Yeah, excellent. I'm going to go ahead and get our flood path connections established. Go. This is the one that's going to be the test. Now, I could probably pull from the back there as well. Like, let's see, actually. If I go ahead and do this, and I try to put a building down up over here, will people have reach? No, we got to be real close before people can access that kindergarten. And yes, they will do it from that back road, whereas the front road, well, they're probably not considering it because they have that back road access. Let's get rid of that back road. And yeah, so we got to be pretty close. We got to be right up to here. So let's go ahead and upgrade this road. Get it up to a gravel road. Up to a gravel road as well. Should be easy enough for the construction office to come through and get the job done. We will probably need pavers and rollers and stuff like that. We have room for them. So let's go ahead and get... Where are we? Paver and a roller. They're going to take their sweet time getting here. Those are also slow vehicles, so again, ideally we'd have flatbeds to move them around with. I can get another construction office down, actually. If I go ahead and take a look, I have room for how many more? 2 more. Alright. Pop you down over here like so. Go ahead and purchase a couple of these flatbeds. And yeah, once those vehicles arrive, we'll reassign them. Or actually, if I can find them on their way over, they're probably coming from down here. Look at how slow they move. I should be able to reassign you to there. Reassign you there. That should do the trick. And then we'll go ahead and make sure that deliver mechanisms only with trucks. And hopefully... We'll work on this road. Where do you get resources? Well, you're only delivering the pavers and rollers, so you shouldn't need resources. We'll see how this plays out. Man, these trucks have arrived. We ordered them so much later, but they've arrived, refueled, and returned to the depot before these guys have even made it to the depot the first time. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Meanwhile, construction continues. The small aggregate storage looks to be in a good spot over here. Again, this thing will only store coal. So eventually we'll start importing coal and bringing it there. This brick factory is about a third of the way done, so actually building pretty quickly over here. Again, the cranes make such a big difference. Such a big difference. And we're slowly bringing more and more resources over as we drain our coffers. Again, we're going to cross that million threshold in a short amount of time now. There's no two ways about it. There's no two ways about it. Oh my God, have you guys still not even refueled? My goodness. Taking their sweet time. Really cool vehicles, though. Again, the kind of thing you don't really see represented in city builders all that often. Not glamorous enough, I suppose. Plenty glamorous for us. Alright, so now hopefully, if that road has had any progress made, any resources delivered, and it looks as though it has. Yeah, gravel is there. We just need some workers, I suppose. Oh, for the gravel, do we just need workers? We don't need mechanisms aren't necessary? Fair enough. Only for asphalt roads, which we'll need eventually anyway. Yeah. Future planning. This is the 5-year plan, Tovarish. It's only been a few months. This is a 5-year plan. Alright, holy crap, 42 degrees Celsius. Unbearable temperatures. But yeah, the experiment here, the plan here is just to make 100% sure that with the upgraded road over here, we will in fact be able to reach these facilities from housing that gets built up over here. Anything that's built back over here, yeah, I'm sure it'll have a reach. But up over here, I'm a bit more doubtful. And again, upgrading this sidewalk might do the trick as well. Do I want to establish in this upgraded sidewalk right now? It feels like this is probably a necessity, so why don't we go ahead and do it more cleanly. Let's get rid of you, and let's make sure that we are building proper footpath here. Don't need an asphalt one with lamps or anything like that. Regular old footpath. Connect from all the way over there. Do I want to use this grid? That's just it. It's like, that's not a straight line. You know what I mean? Whereas if I don't use the grid, that feels right to me. That feels right to me. 19 tons of gravel. These costs, they add up. Hook you up like so. Get you through. Or not. There we go. Beauty. That should be a good test here. How are we looking over here? Any vehicles on the way over? Yeah. 20 workers on their way over to work on this small patch of road. Good for you guys. Alright. As that's happening, what else should we pursue here? This required gravel. Yeah, a lot of things need gravel, and that's why I keep wondering about the gravel production. Again, not in a massive rush or anything like that, but might be one of those things that's worth investing in, you know? Wow. Okay, there we go. I was like 1,100 workdays, 1,200 workdays for a gravel processing plant. No, there is the smaller one. That'll just take 373 workdays. 5 maximum workers producing 27 tons of gravel each per workday. That's about 35 tons per day. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, I mean, we could get the small gravel quarry and the gravel processing plant going. Again, just providing more things locally, right? This is where we're stockpiling gravel for the time being. Again, we have plenty. It's not like we're buying tons and tons of gravel. In fact, we can probably export some, make a dent in our economy in the positive direction, potentially. Okay, well, why don't we go ahead and take a look at some options here. So miscellaneous, gravel quarry. Where do we have some source that isn't all that far away? It's going to be right over here, right? Decent source over here, 70%. 70%. Makes this a more adventurous journey up, I suppose. Anywhere else? I'm sure there's spots up over here as well. 40%, 30%. I don't want to be so close to where people are living. Not that it's that close. I mean, the other side of the water tower. Ooh, 90%. That's kind of hard to resist, isn't it? I want a nice view of the pump jacks from people's houses. Sure, let's pop these guys down over here. I think it makes the most sense. Outskirts of the city. Kind of rural countryside vibes. Alright. How do we establish this, though? And we need to make sure people are able to get here to work, right? We need to bring in 40 people for the quarry and 5 people for the processing plant. So we're going to have a bus stop, I suppose, in the area as well. Yeah, fair enough. Again, building all this, like, industry stuff. Who knows when I'm going to actually have enough people to work it all. It's on 83% over here. 85%. 7. 88. Seems to be the highest it gets. If I can hit that high again, then I will absolutely take the 88%. Oh, there it was. All this over 1%. Alright, you know what? I'm about to give up. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Now we just wait for the terraforming. The road construction over here is going to be a bit messy, I'm sure. I'm not going to establish a bridge or anything. Building the bridge will set us back financially for millennia of gravel sales. So let's get the gravel quarry set up over here. The road will, yeah, require a bit of terraforming, and that's okay. Raise the terrain over here. Get this smoothed out. I'm gonna need water for all these industries as well, aren't I? It's out. 80%, eh? Feel like, yeah, it's like not terraformed directly to the structure. So let's go ahead and flatten like that, and that should help. That should help tremendously, actually. All right, where are we? Miscellaneous, gravel quarry. More easily find that 88%. Beautiful. Come on now. Pop you down there. And the road can go out now. It's excellent. So, the road goes out, connects directly out. Seems like an obvious decision there. The processing plant. Again, like, we have conveyor belts and stuff we can use to connect to an aggregate storage somewhere. Like, alright, well, gravel doesn't need to be stored up over here, so do I bring all that quarried stone up to this construction area to process it into gravel and replace this aggregate storage with a proper aggregate storage site instead? And that's the hesitation of over-investing in some of these things too quickly, because very quickly it escalates. Now, the processing plant can store 145 tons of gravel itself. It doesn't have to deposit it anywhere, but it feels rather short-sighted to just put it down here in the middle of nowhere and go, yeah, sure, for the time being it does the trick. Go ahead and suspend your construction. Dump these resources off. Suspend your construction. Ironic, the first thing to arrive is gravel. Very ironic. But yeah, no, yeah, so that's where it becomes like, well, that's kind of silly. It's like to have this massive construct over here feeding into nothing. Does it make more sense to bring all that quarried stone? I mean, there's no connections. So I guess what option do we have but to bring that quarried stone to somewhere? Might as well be somewhere up over here, where all this industry is anyway to begin with. And this is where If we want all the aggregate storage to happen over here for the facilitation of construction, then that also makes sense, right? So fair enough. A couple things to do then in this general area. First, I'm going to go ahead and figure out where the aggregate storage would go. So again, it would be a small aggregate storage. Don't want anything too massive. It's just a starter, right? Small as it gets. We'd probably pop down somewhere over here. So many outputs just being wasted. This always thrown me off about the options. It's like, oh man. So many other places I could put this to use all those outputs. Because I pop this down over here and those outputs that are facing the road are like completely wasted. Guess I could put you down like this instead. Other option is to establish it this, have the processing happen over here. We're, by the way, way too far for the power. So that's, we need more substations in the area. I'm well aware of that. Alright, if I have the aggregate storage up over here. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't have to use all those outputs every time. Would be nice and convenient, but do like this, connect you to the main road. I can flip you like this, connect you up to here instead. Alright, let's pop you down like that temporarily. Let's go ahead and take a look at the processing plant. Because the thing is, there's like aggregate loaders as well. Like a truck aggregate loading station is how you easily load a truck up, more quickly load a truck up. And so, you know, these things will have uses up over here as well, if that's how we want to actually give access to the resources. In fact, why don't I go ahead and plan for that? Go ahead and establish you over here like so. Do that so that the second slot stays open. Again, I can always do this manually as well. Waste space. We got plenty of room. Sure. Flatten that, hook you up like this. Make sure you're suspended. Make sure you're suspended as well. And you too. Alright, cool. So, aggregate storage, loading for the trucks. Where is my... all this for gravel. All this for gravel. Gravel processing plant. Fit in here nicely. Going like this. I'm not too worried about other outputs from this processing plant, I don't think. 2,700 or so tons of gravel per workday. I don't think, if we're topped up on gravel that much, then I got different problems. Like, I'm just not using everything I'm producing. That's a different issue. Flatten this a little bit. Yeah. Be able to do this kind of a thing as well. Wonder if that road will work here. This feels like a nice layout. Can do this kind of a thing. Close. Alright, so if I can do this kind of a thing. Suspend your construction and of course yours as well. Can I get this road building in the way? Okay. Yeah, no surprise. That's what I was expecting. That's why I was so hesitant about that one. Alright, that's okay. Demolish you. And back to placing this plant down. Then the better option is simply to do something like this. And yeah, a couple of wasted outputs, but like I said, I don't think that's going to be the make or break here. Okay, this actually gives us a lot more room if I really feel like I need it. I want to export, you know, stone or put gravel right into a truck's back or something. I don't know. Something. If I desperately want it. I guess I could fit something else. Okay, let's Pop you down like that. It's not cooperating exactly how I'd like it to, so I'm gonna have to do this manually. Might need to adjust your rotation a bit there. No. But pop you down like so. Again, suspend. Let's get our conveyor connection. Ah, he won't let me. I guess I should just trust it more. And know that it's got my best interests at heart. This is what I want. I want it connecting to this one. If I get too close, it snaps away. Fair enough. Pop you down there. And we'll see what the roads would look like over here. Because we'll basically want to pull road up. Right? Flatten it out a little bit. Sides are too interesting. I'll have to flatten that a bit. That won't be a problem, obviously. Excellent. Move you out. There we go. Beauty. It's all free. Our local excavators and bulldozers and stuff. That's all well and good. Straight enough, I'm going to say. You'll hook up like so. You'll hook up like so. Excellent. Trucks will be loading up over here, though. This is just for maintenance and fires and things like that. To which end, by the way, I will need firefighters and all that good stuff as well. Anyway, this was only part of what needed planning over here. I also wanted to establish our switch, because that's something we talked about right at the beginning of this episode. We've made it a long way through this episode, getting constantly and consistently distracted by countless other things, but it's time for us to think about, the switch, before I get distracted again, which I almost did. So, where do we want the switch to lead to? I would like an electric substation somewhere down over here, because it makes sense. It's at the same kind of level. I don't want to have a... So eventually redundancies aren't a bad thing, for sure. But I don't think I need them just quite yet. So we'll want a substation like all the way down over here somewhere. I forget. Are you getting power? You're not, actually. Just out of reach of power. So we want a substation. First of all, I do have the option of the underground substation as well, if I wanted to. Or underground connections, stuff like that. So that's something to keep in mind, that if these wires are starting to get overbearing, then I can go underground. Here is about where the substation would need to be to hit all of those buildings that have been left out and cover another massive radius over here. Get a little bit closer. Here, let's do something like this. We need to be over here, and before we actually let this all build, I'm going to get distracted once more and figure out why. Right, this hasn't been built because we haven't asked for the construction of our infrastructure. Once that's done, we can run our experiment again, because this gravel road has been put down, right? So that. Okay. So that's one substation, but that doesn't supply power to all these guys. So let's get another substation figured out over here. This one would probably exist somewhere like up here, I'm thinking. Or for easier access, like up here. Provide power to these facilities. I mean, eventually when the coal power plant goes down, it'll provide power in a local area, but I'm not going to rely on that, thing that's a decade away potentially. Instead, I got to look at the near future, which is providing power to these structures without causing too much trouble. That's about as far as I can go. Okay. Then yeah, let's go ahead and pop you down over here. Fit nicely. Any reason for that gap? Yeah, in case I want to put something else in between. Down you go. And again, for the time being, suspending construction. I want to go ahead and establish our switch. This thing's a little bit larger. I pop you down like so. connect our wires to this and over. So let's make sure that we are too close. Okay, fair enough. I'm glad I checked. Glad I checked before we just let that build away. Medium voltage. Switch. Hopefully that's a sweet spot. There we go. Hook you up like that. Excellent. So I'll probably want another switch right away because we have to actually split this in more directions. Right, like I'll probably want a switch right over here. Like so. Oh, give it a bit more room. No, that's suspend. Or perhaps I didn't. We'd connect these two together. And then this guy over here would send power back. Trying to make sure we have a gap for this road. Again, planning ahead as best as I can. So let's actually have this road go all the way. Is it perfectly straight? No. Am I okay with it? I'll claim to be. So there we go. Pull you up like so. Again, if this wasn't realistic mode, I could just pop a couple clicks and we'll be done. It is realistic mode. This part of the fun. Alright. So the need to be thorough, because otherwise you're gonna hurt yourself down the line. Down the power line. Oh, come on, don't. I want it to look nice too, is the thing. There we go, so that's good. So that should provide power to this general area. Question becomes, how do we get the connection to this substation? And I cannot. God, the underground connections are so tempting. Much lower voltage, though. Much lower voltage and much more expensive, I'm sure, as well. Actually, you know what? That's a lot better than I expected. Only 7.5 tons of gravel? That's actually a lot better than I expected. Hang on a second. That's not bad. Considering how far this has to go, I'm actually kind of tempted. It's funny to me that there are buildings in the way over here, and I can't think of... I just got to go a bit more underground. I guess that's what's going on. It's the slope is working against me. Yeah, if I go deep enough and bring in nearly 200 tons of gravel, then I can just pull a straight line. That's funny. Don't need that. Don't need that, but tells me I do have options here. Right, like I can go ahead and pull this down to here. Let's just take a look at it. Pull this over. The issue again is that I'm sending very little power over. But yeah, I can hook it up like that. Then we don't have to see all these wires everywhere. Oh, that is tempting. Yeah, eventually as this area grows, we can go ahead and draw another line from Balutakia and you know, do a proper connection. Sure, this is a temporary solution. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully that's enough power coming through for what's going to be built here. I have my doubts, but you know what? We'll pay the price of those doubts later. We'll pay the price of not paying attention to those doubts later, is what I mean to say, obviously. Let's go ahead and start the construction of planned infrastructure. Sounds good. Let's make sure the substations are being built as well. Of course, the switches need constructing too. And got this substation all the way over here. Now, why is this a rush? Well, it's because we actually need to get power to these guys when they get built up, right? Our sidewalk has been built. I love seeing progress just happening as I plan and work away elsewhere. And you know what? Our Our brick factory is ready as well, actually. Oh no, just shy of it. Very close. Last couple of shipments of steel and boards. 300 more work days and we'll be golden. Alright, cool. That's kind of intense, actually, to think about. That's very intense to think about. If I can get the substation up and running then. Build that road properly. If I can get the substation up and running, then I can get all these things going. And I can start getting people to arrive because we'll have all their needs met. The water tower is full as well, I assume. No, the valve is closed. Oh, right. We haven't turned power on yet, of course, because I got distracted by literally everything else. Now, hang on. This is actually pretty good. We're a lot closer to bringing people in than I thought. We might actually start exporting bricks before we cross that 1,000,000 ruble threshold. Truth be told, probably not. All it takes is a couple more buildings and we'll be in trouble. But again, that's a self established goal or limit or whatever you want to call it. All right, so what are we looking at here? Yeah, so you can see people can get a bit further from further. Can't make it to the kindergarten though from all the way there, right? Need to be fair enough. That's not that bad. I mean, we're probably going to build larger buildings and they'll have the larger footprint. Like if I chase after, let's say, this guy, right? It's got the 2 access points. Well, that's not a great example. This guy has got multiple access points, much bigger, wider building. So the closer access point is where the calculation takes place from. So we'll be fine. Yeah, that's good. But the upgraded paths and roads did help. I want to just have that as a showcase of what I was talking about, so you know I'm not just making stuff up here. Looks like we are getting that power down from there. This connection as well. Cool. And eventually I'll need to get another switch. This is very localized, but this should provide power to a decent range over here and a decent range over here. That should do good. This gravel quarry is going to need power, isn't it? You know, you're going to need power, aren't you? Doesn't actually, that's good. It'll just need mechanisms. It'll need excavators to pull gravel out. Alright, that's good. Well, to pull stone out, and then that'll get processed into gravel up over here. I gotta start referencing the right materials to the right places. This is about 30% done already. Wow, that's impressive. These guys currently without water power supply. That's okay. You are storing metal scrap and only metal scrap. Okay, good. Cool. Oh, just about done with the brick factory. Just about done with the brick factory. One more day of work. Again, 24 work days. That means if we have, like, each individual fulfills a work day. Not 24 work days of full workers working at the work site. Unless things have changed or I'm horribly mistaken. That's my understanding of it, and that's how things have been working so far. But this is tremendously exciting. We're building a massive ghost town. It's coming together. Coming together very nicely, actually. All right, man. That's going pretty smoothly. I'm not gonna lie. This is going a lot more smoothly than I'd anticipated. Something's got to give. Something's going to go horribly wrong very soon, as our brick factory has been completed. Would you look at that? And yep, 33 tons of coal turns into 51 tons of bricks. I could start by stockpiling some bricks right off the bat. And you know what? I didn't actually check. I just realized. I didn't actually check. The thing is, again, we can store bricks at the brick factory, and that's okay. But I didn't check how I want to expand this, and that's fine because we haven't over-invested in like the bus stop and stuff over here. It's all dirt roads, so that's perfectly a-okay. But I should probably consider that before I upgrade any of these roads or do anything like that. In fact, why don't we go ahead and think about it right now? Get rid of this free bus stop. Get rid of these roads. Construction is done, so we don't need it as urgently anymore, sorry. Road can go out, so we'd want to store bricks at an open storage. Small open storage works. Get an easy factory connection. Infrastructure's in the way. Yeah, we can do that. I mean, again, we'll need a bit of terraforming over here to make sure the things can actually connect, and that's not going to be too much of a problem. Latin, I don't want to raise you, I want to lower you, actually. Go ahead and right from center. Smooth that out a little bit. And where was I? Storage. Always throws me off. Storage. Right, general storage. Flatten it a bit more. Oh right, I got a footpath over here. I gotta clear that footpath out. And again, that was mainly to check about walkability. Not something I'm actually pursuing. Fix that road up, and now we should be good, for sure. Yeah, there you go. So we can pop this down to store surplus bricks. This will have room for 246 tons of bricks. We can put other stuff in here as well, but what else are we going to be producing anytime soon? I guess I could get wood processing happening here, and it could store boards as well. If we take a look at the wood processing industry, a sawmill, yeah, I mean, pretty cheap to make. It takes, what, 180 tons of wood to produce 140 tons of boards. Again, not something that's worth exporting, I imagine. Yeah, I sell it 10 a piece, roughly, and wood comes in at 7 a piece, 8 a piece, let's call it. The fuel wasted in transporting that good, those goods alone, is just not worthwhile. But how much have we actually purchased, I suppose? Oh geez, it's December. Where are my boards? Oh, you know what? We actually quite regularly import. Oh, that's not a lot of boards at all. That's not worth worrying about, man. This whole year, you're telling me this whole year we only spent 1,400 rubles in boards? Seems right, because that seems right for steel. Okay. Yeah, see, am I in a rush to establish this industry that uses raw material that you can barely find in this deserted part of the world? I hardly think so, right? At least not up over here. If I'm not mistaken, Al Ibrashna actually has a woodcutting post already available. It has mechanisms as well, I think, yeah. So if it gets some workers, it'll go around cutting trees down. But I don't know if I want it to do that. Let's preserve our local trees as best as possible, perhaps. Rely heavily on import and export, you know, fuel and oil and stuff instead, right? The ratios there are well in our favor. So that sounds good to me. But yeah, as the sun rises, we can celebrate our completed and empty brick factory. But it is completed, though. And what did I tell you about symbols? What did I tell you about symbols? Folks, I hope you enjoyed this session. If you did, you know what to do as we return to our position up over here to see our growth. Yeah, it's nice to see the expansion. It's quite visible, especially with the power line under construction. But I digress. Folks, if you had a good time, you know what to do. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below. As always, it makes a very big difference in letting me know what people are enjoying on the channel. Lets me know what I should do more or less of, how I should go about doing it. And yeah, I read all the comments, so if you have any thoughts, suggestions, opinions, feedback, fire away in the comments, and they will get addressed in one way, shape, or form. Again, just as a quick reminder, some of these episodes were recorded while I was out of town, so if I seem like I'm not responding to your comments and suggestions in gameplay, it's because these were recorded ahead of time, so that I could actually, you know, release them while I'm out. But once I return, I will be taking a look at all the comments, or rather, I'm already reading all the comments, I'm sure, but I'll actually be able to address them in gameplay. Either way, folks, I hope you're having a good time, because I certainly am. I absolutely adore workers and resources. It is such a fascinating concept, just doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on the complexity of city building and doing it so very, very well. I love it. That aside, folks, as always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. That'll keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.